What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique. I'm a fight guy, a Forbes contributor, and I also write for Heavy.com. And we are powered by Fight TV and presented by Bet Online. And it is time to talk UFC 250 predictions. Been going through every single last fight on this card. The next fight, let's look at this one. I'm telling you, hard stuff to call back to back to back here on this card. Cody Stamann, number 12 overall, against Brian Boom Kelleher. Now, Kelleher, he's like the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series assassin. I mean, he has just destroyed these guys. O'Day Osborne, one time, and in the last fight he had against Azure, he completely dismantled this guy. So these guys come up and they look like they're fire, and they just get fed to Kelleher, and he handles it. And to the UFC's credit, he's fought two up-and-coming guys coming from Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, and recognizing that Kelleher's a veteran, then now giving him a chance to take on a ranked opponent in Stamann, who comes in number 12 overall. Thing about Kelleher is, though, he has struggled against the ranked guys or the better fighters who are a little bit more highly touted. So he has the losses to John Lineker. He also lost a very highly touted Montel Jackson. If you ask me, two of the young guys besides Shabazian who have the most look like, yeah, this might be a future champion, it's Montel Jackson, it is Roosevelt Roberts, and then it's Edmund Shabazian. Those three guys right now are three of the most promising young fighters in any weight class. Obviously, there's some other guys out there who haven't quite gotten there yet. There's even one on this card in Sugar Sean O'Malley, but those guys really stand out to me. So those were tough fights that was a tough fight for Kelleher against Jackson, and he did not come out on top. He ended up getting submitted. But if you compare this particular matchup, right, Kelleher is a better striker, in my opinion, than Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann is a really good athlete, a little bit explosive, but I haven't seen him be super effective as a striker in his career. And if just take a look at what he's done in his career and the ways that he has won, right? That's always key. And the guy has a really, really good record, 18-2-1, hasn't really been definitively beaten in the UFC. Only loss he has was he's only been definitively beaten one time in the UFC, and that was with that ridiculous knee bar that Aljamain Sterling put on him. Like, I didn't even know a human being was supposed to be able to bend that way. Obviously, they're not supposed to be. That's why he tapped. His last fight, I thought he got a little bit robbed. I thought that draw with him, he probably deserved the victory over Song Yadong, who is getting a lot of benefit of the doubts on some of these decisions, to be honest, because you can also say that he got away with one against Marlon Cheeto Vera in his last fight. But at any rate, Stamann doesn't get stops. He doesn't stop guys. He has out of all of his victories in the UFC, he's never had a single stoppage victory ever. He gets a lot of close decisions. When he started in the UFC, got a unanimous decision against Terrion Ware. Then got a split decision win over Tom Duquesnoy and a split decision win over Brian Caraway. Then he gets submitted by Sterling, gets a unanimous decision victory over Alejandro Perez, and then he gets the majority draw with Song Yadong. He's not getting stoppages at this level, which is a little troublesome, because I would, like I said, I call him a so-so striker, though he does have some power. He's a strong wrestler. But when you're not getting finishes, you're leaving yourself open with these kind of quiet rounds. Now, you're facing a guy who absolutely is a finisher. Kelleher has proven that he's a finisher. And even when the fight does go to a decision, Kelleher has never lost a decision in the UFC at all, period. And the last time he lost a decision in his career was 7 years ago. So if you're kind of weighing the flow of how this fight can go, I'm really leaning towards Kelleher here. I think he has shown himself to be the better striker. And when the fight does go to the ground, this guy is really underrated with his submission skills. He has a heck of a squeeze. And I know that Stamann's going to want to go for that wrestling. And also, don't underestimate Brian Kelleher's fight IQ. He comes in with a solid game plan. You have to out-execute him. And I'm just not sure. I don't think Stamann's going to be able to do that. And on top of not being able to out-execute him, I think that Kelleher is going to get an opportunity to submit Cody Stamann. And that's my prediction. It's a bold one. And this is obviously, these are pretty significant odds here. Cody Stamann, a minus 252 favorite. Brian Kelleher is a plus 212 underdog. But I am going with this big underdog here. And I'm going with Kelleher by a second round submission. And I know Stamann's a tough guy to submit because wrestlers like him are most of the time don't get themselves in that situation. But I don't know, man. I think Kelleher's in a good place right now. I think he's flowing. I think he's been super active. I think he's right in a good spot. And I think he gets this really big victory, which is probably going to be the biggest win of his entire fighting career. So he is my pick in this one. I guess it's my first significant underdog pick on this particular card.